Hello and welcome to Almost 30 Podcast.
Hey, everybody. It's Lindsay and Krista, your
Greetings.
Girls in the same palette.
Same palette
Every
per
time.
usual. We are dressed the same.
That's how psychically connected we are.
Well, you come to LA, you drop into neutrals because LA is a neutral town.
I guess so. I'm always looking for color, but I think I didn't want to get like LA summer stuff when I'm going back to 30 degrees in New York. I
Yeah,
was
it's
like,
freezing.
So I'm kind of like striking the balance. So I have swishy pants and a sweater.
Dude, I know.
It's all good.
You love this. You love like
Iconic.
you love a pant that says something.
I do.
You like your pants to do the
These
talking.
are supporting me right now.
They're either
These are from Revolve. Go to revolve.com/almost 30.
Honestly, rhinestone studded,
Yeah, dude.
like bells, street pants, track
Never
pants.
had bells. Take that back.
Yes, you have. At some point, you had a pant. You had a pant that told us something about you. About
I
your
do
style.
love statement pants. I do love. What do you love?
Denim sets.
Denim.
I got
Tits out.
I got a denim tits out. I got a denim set delivered last week, and my boyfriend was like, "Wow, that's really different than the other ones in the closet." And I was like, "The thing about this one is the sleeves bell at the bottom, not the top." And the shorts got this like dark, and I don't know what it is about denim sets. I love a set. I love denim, the fit. I like that it's relaxed but dressed.
Totally.
I'm gonna do denim theme for my birthday.
Oh, I like that.
Denim and delivery,
That's-
and I'm gonna do a comedy set.
Denim and delivery.
Yeah.
What's the delivery part?
I don't know. ChatGPT told me that.
Okay. Because you're gonna do a comedy set. So
Yeah, I'm
maybe
gonna do
it's
a
the
comedy
delivery.
set. That's what I meant, like delivery.
Okay,
ChatGPT said I should do that, but that's not gonna go.
He's like, good luck with the invite list.
Yeah, honestly.
You're
But
on your own
everyone's gonna be
there.
wearing- I want everyone in Canadian tuxedos, and that's an
Oh,
easy.
that's a good one.
This
That's-
is
yeah,
what's
it's
good
easy.
about that is that's an easy trend.
Totally easy.
I have a friend who will not be named where we are dressing as a version of her, and my girl has dressed in many versions over many years. I'll say her name, Sahara Rose, my dear queen. She has been many versions of many times over many lifetimes. She has been Rose Gold Goddess. She has been Egyptian priestess. She has been Balinese queen. She has been twerk master.
Twerking DJ.
She has
yeah.
been belly dancer. She has been Ayurvedic queen. She has been girl boss. She has been DJ.
What are you gonna do?
She has been pocket. So I'm trying to think about that right now because it's tonight. So I have to find out my outfit.
Oh, we
She has a
gotta
lot
do
of outfits in
this.
her closet. I kind of want to just like change in her closet and borrow something.
Yeah.
I was thinking maybe I could be the podcast version of her and like wear like a blazer, like her, like a suit,
Just a
power
blazer.
suit. Yeah, I was thinking about just bring a power suit of it, or like I have maybe like something I could do like where I'm like her. I think I might do her rose phase and wear like a cream set.
Yeah.
It's funny about themes. Like sometimes the themes I'm like rock on. I'm so excited about this, and sometimes I'm like this is torture.
If I have enough time to prepare, rock on.
Oh
If
my
I
God.
don't, I'm out.
Totally agree.
I'm not dressing
And
up.
sometimes in Los Angeles, it's kind of demonic.
Totally.
Dude, I was like, me and one of my friends, we had to sit down and really think about our values with this party we went to. We were like, this doesn't feel spiritually right to be dressed up for this party.
And was it?
It was actually a beautiful party. It was someone that we loved, so we trusted them. But I guess for me and the way I see things, and this is fun for the conversation with Kelsey today, we talk a lot about God and our journey in faith, but symbols matter, images matter, shapes matter, words matter. And I think people think sometimes that they don't. So they'll be like, oh yeah, I'll wear horns, or I'll wear like, Baphomet or whatever the thing is. And like, they'll just wear the things. And I'm like, symbols is like how we've communicated over time. So for me, certain symbols in the spiritual space mean something. And I think people kind of take it lightly. But then there's the other belief in spirituality where it's like you give it the meaning and it means nothing. So
yeah.
not really sure what it is, but sometimes for me, I feel like symbols and signs matter.
Mm-hmm.
So it's just a little bit too much, but I found my way.
Mm-hmm. Were you ever like a devil for Halloween?
It's a great question. I never was. I was slutty nurse.
Mm-hmm.
I was
Slutty referee.
I was a slutty ref. That was a good
Oh,
one.
wow.
Referee was a good one.
Nailed it.
Slutty referee was a good one. Slutty French maid.
Okay.
Tinkerbell.
Come on. Cute.
That was cute
Light.
and fun. Beyonce
Like
of
being.
Single Ladies.
Oh, interesting.
Where like she wore like the bodysuit, black set.
Mm-hmm.
And that was it's funny because it was back in college and I wasn't wearing pants because you're just wearing a bodysuit set. And you know, everyone doesn't wear pants anymore. Like everyone's like wearing see-through, invisible, no pants, no underwear. Everyone's like naked all the time. Back then in Ohio, people like weren't naked like that. So I remember like going out with like a bodysuit on. It was long sleeve, fully covered, but I had like almost like a bathing suit bottom on the bottom. And this guy, when I was walking out, was like, "Put on some pants." Where it wasn't like, "Yeah, baby, that's hot." He was like, "Put on pants."
Dude, college is crazy, man.
College is so crazy.
Thinking back to what we were wearing,
just like little
doing.
piglets. Like I think it's disgusting what happens in college, and I think kids are little piglets.
Tell me more.
Just like little dirt balls. Like when I go to like the frat house or like where my boyfriend lived, it was so
it was
gross,
disgusting.
Even my place was so gross, disgusting. I had like, it was just everything was disgusting. I don't know what was going on with everyone where they were so gross.
Well, I think
you had time.
I think the freedom of it all and like the ability to have parties whenever and whatever kind of superseded the fact that when you looked around and like smelled around, you smelled pee and like had beer cans strewn everywhere for weeks and weeks on end.
Yeah.
Like, I don't know. But I also think it depends on the people. Like some people don't give a shit. I'm like, if my space isn't clean, I'm unwell.
I think back then I didn't really clock it that much, but now I'm so different with that. But it was just in a way that was like disrespectful and unhealthy. And like,
totally.
The lack of, I think it is like, there's a rebound effect of like being so tightly feeling like your parents control you and you wanted freedom.
Yes.
So you think it's with eating whatever you want, not sleeping.
Not cleaning up. Yeah. Who cares?
I'll never forget it when I was in Amsterdam. I've been to Amsterdam a few times, and Amsterdam has like red light district where prostitution is illegal, and they also have a lot of drugs are illegal.
Illegal or legal?
Sorry, legal.
Legal. Okay.
Prostitution, legal drugs, like legal, a lot of things are legal. And I remember reading about it, and some author put it really beautifully. He's like, for some people, freedom, they think this is what freedom is. The ability to do all these bad things, to have sex with anyone, to do all the drugs, to drink, all of that. And it's like funny because that's just like another prison. You know, you think it's freedom to like sleep in, not sleep, eat like shit, have a dirty place and all that stuff. It's like, that's not freedom.
Yes, 100%.
It's not freedom.
But I think that's a part of the developmental
for sure
thing happening at that age where you kind of swing and you're like, you know, you're kind of going against what you've always done and known. And then you kind of figure out, oh, actually, like my parents telling me to clean my room was actually a really good habit too.
100%.
Cooking for myself, not ordering food every
me and
day.
my sister, we used to be like mental when my mom would be like, clean the bathroom. We'd be like, it was so dramatic. We'd be like, ah. And we'd take 5 hours. We'd be like, I can't believe she's honestly would take 20 minutes with concerted effort.
Oh yeah.
Just focus for 20 minutes and you can do it. And we would take 5 hours and we'd be so dramatic about it. It's crazy. What was your least favorite chore?
My least favorite chore, never put my clothes away.
Whoa.
Like my mom would so kindly fold them and then put them in our room so that we would put them away in our drawers. We'll just have stacks and piles. And now my husband does that. And I'm like,
of course. My gosh, of course. What is a gross thing for me when something's out? I just hate when there's like stuff on the counter.
Oh yeah.
Like that's like
clutter. Yeah. I don't like clutter. I don't like, why is this here?
Yeah.
Why is your coat on a chair in the kitchen when there's a closet down there with coats in it? Why?
I know.
Why is there's like papers and stuff? Yeah. I don't like that.
My boyfriend hates dirty floors. Crumbs on the floor. He's like, crumbs on the floor is, honestly.
We got crumb queen.
It's actually specific to me. He just discovered that with me. He bought me a vacuum.
Well, that's a good one.
Like the first trip. He's like, I'm buying you a vacuum.
Yeah, it makes life so much easier.
You know what's funny is I've had people like come visit and they don't like get me like thank you gifts. They buy me like a sponge. Olivia came and visited and bought me a sponge and a brush. And then bought me Cascade tablets because my natural tablets for my thing were disgusting.
It didn't work.
Yeah, she's like, it was really disgusting. You need actual cleaning tablets. And that was like her gift for staying.
Yeah, it's underrated when you have a clean space. Even if you're someone that doesn't like to clean, I highly doubt that you actually love being in filth. So like get a housekeeper who will support you.
Oh my God.
It's a good investment if you don't want to do it.
It's everything.
It's everything because it just reflects, for me, it just it influences what's happening in my mind, and then also it's a reflection of what's happening in my mind oftentimes. So I have to be mindful.
I've said this before, but there's so much science around that talks about your space, and the clutter of your space impacts your mental health. Your cortisol levels increase, your anxiety increases, your brain never feels like it can relax because it's got so much stimuli going on.
Yes.
And so to support yourself and being more productive, it kind of makes sense to have a clean space, a tidy space. That's why minimalism and kind of that design aesthetic that was really popular for a while at the Kardashian house and stuff like that was like nothing, because they had so much noise, like Kim Kardashian, just so much noise and input and excitement and drama and stimulation, that being at home to have no stimulation, not even by art or not even by any like rigid line or anything, was supportive for her.
Yeah, I can see that. I feel that.
I don't know if I'd want that though.
I actually really like what she's done, but yeah, I would love a little more art, like a little more like life in it. But I do like a clean, and like curved line,
rounded
like
edges, and all of that. I know it is like
custom.
So true. Today's episode is with a dear friend, Kelsey Patel. I'm really pumped, you guys. If you guys don't know Kelsey, she's just a gem. Kelsey's incredible. She is a teacher. She is a speaker. She is someone that has been in the space for quite some time. And we've kind of been in each other's orbit for a while, but more recently dropped in, and she's a wellness expert that's worked with some really amazing brands. She has an app called the Pure Joy app that helps people tap into their pure joy every single day. And she's also an author. And in this conversation, I wanted to really talk to her about something that we had been exploring together, which was around faith and kind of like our evolution of our spirituality journey. And I think this is relevant because a lot of people are now coming to a different place in their path with spirituality and their relationship to God and their relationship to the tools and the practices and the rituals. And they're realizing that their practice can be so much more intuitive and so much more personal and so much more refined. And we just talked really candidly and openly. Like, you know, we've both been in the space, maybe her longer. She's probably been in 15 years. I think ours is like 10 to 12. And about what it feels like to sort of leave old practices behind, you know, like tarot or crystals or, you know, Reiki or anything like that, and move into a space where we kind of have just like this centerpiece of God in our lives, this simplicity of God in our lives, and what it feels like, and how it feels almost like an ego death or an identity death, or it feels like a big shift, especially when your business is built on certain things. You know, she's been a world-renowned Reiki healer and teacher for a long time. So a lot of her work is based on that methodology and that principle. And it can feel like scary to leave that type of identity behind. And secondly, we also talked about her journey with mold, black mold in her house.
Whoa.
Girl.
Wow. I mean, I'm hearing that more and more, and I think it's one of those things that when people have chronic issues, thankfully, it's one of the first places that they're going to check. It's a real issue.
There was like a month where like every single one of my clients, I was like, do you have mold? Because half of them did. And it was like insanely harmful to their health and their mental health. It makes you feel insane. Like it's crazy how it impacts you from a negative perspective. And so it brought her to her knees in a way that completely reset and reformed how she sees life. And she didn't think she would live. Like she felt like insane at times. And so she comes with a really open heart and a lot of vulnerability and truth about the hardest time in her life with her health and what it felt like as a mother and a wife to go through that, and how it really restructured and reformed how she sees the world. And so I think you guys are really going to love this. It was such a fun conversation, like girls hanging, but there's so much depth and richness to it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's a topic I feel like, I think there's going to be more. I mean, I feel like it's already popular, but I think there's going to be more coming out around that, and just kind of like, because I think the topic of mold, of moisture in the home, of like all these things is like, it can happen so easily. And so I think, I don't know, when it comes to chronic illness, I think there's like, that is the root of so much that we're seeing, that I think less people will be kind of going around and like getting all the tests on all the other things and immediately going there.
Yeah, it's It's deep. And I think more, a friend of mine in Texas, she just moved in, they had black mold and it was like impacting so many things. So yeah, I think people need to check for it, need to get it.
Before they move into a house.
Yeah, agreed,
like
100%.
No matter what, even if it's a new house, you don't know if there's been like a recent flood or even like in bathrooms, in the showers, like in the vents, like, I don't know. Yeah.
A really good call.
Yeah.
My house is new, but I really should get it anyways. So you can find more from Kelsey at kelseyjpatel.com. That's Kelsey. And then she's on Instagram at Kelsey J. Patel. So Kelsey Patel, thank you so much for joining us. And if you want more conversations on spirituality and God, we did a few episodes on that. So you can search God Almost 30, just talking about our journey, kind of exploring something that's been a theme over the past couple of years with the show. And we have 800 other episodes for y'all. So you can dig in, you can grow with us, you can evolve, you can learn so much in a way that feels approachable and fun. We also have Morning Microdose, our second show. And then we have YouTube. You can see us on video, hanging out on YouTube. It's so fun to just like spend time together.
Get fashion inspo.
Yeah, and get tons of fashion inspiration. And then Almost 30 Podcast on TikTok. We share all the clips on TikTok, so you see so many different clips there. And then Almost 30 Podcast on Instagram.
We love you guys. Enjoy this one.
You know how in your 20s, your body starts slowing down in ways you don't notice at first? Definitely started for me in like my late 20s, maybe your late 30s. Your joints feel a little stiffer, skin less plump, energy dips. Yeah, okay, that's when I started paying attention to collagen. Paleo Valley's bone broth protein is made from 100% grass-fed, grass-finished beef bones, slow simmered from small-scale regenerative farms. They do it right. It is packed with collagen to support skin, hair, nails, gut health, and joints. Plus, it's clean. It can be unflavored if you want the unflavored, and gently processed with no chemicals at all or additives. I love adding it to coffee, to smoothies, or just hot water like I do with my chocolate. It tastes like a creamy chocolate or vanilla milkshake without the sugar. It's so good. It's basically all the benefits of slow simmered bone broth in 30 seconds, giving you 13 to 15 grams of protein per serving to help you stay fuller and support metabolism. You can head to paleovalley.com/almost30 or use the code A30 at checkout for 15% off your first purchase. Again, my favorite is the chocolate bone broth protein. I will make sure to put this with hot water. Sometimes I'll add like a little dash of milk. It is so delicious. I'm telling everyone about it. Again, that's paleovalley.com/almost30. The code is A30, A30 at checkout for 15% off your purchase. I never realized how many harmful chemicals were hiding in my old nonstick pans. Teflon, PFAS, all that stuff that can leach into your food and home. That's why I've been loving Our Place. Their cookware is toxin-free, high performance, and honestly very beautiful. The 4-piece cookware set is such a game changer. I love it so much. I even display it on top of my stovetop because it's just so pretty. It comes with 2 always pans and 2 perfect pots, which are coming in different sizes. It's great. They replace a whole pile of bulky cookware, letting you saute and sear, fry, roast, boil, basically everything, all in just 4 pieces. And I wanted to mention the Wonder Oven. It's an air fryer and toaster oven in one. It's sold out 8 times for a reason. Cooking at home feels simpler, safer, and actually enjoyable. Stop cooking with toxic cookware and upgrade to Our Place today. I'm excited for you guys. Visit FromOurPlace.com/almost30 and use the code almost30 for 10% off site-wide. With a 100-day risk-free trial, free shipping, and returns, you could try it completely worry-free.
Goddess, here, welcome, Holy Spirit to the room. Okay.
He's in the room.
He is in the room. He's in the room. Okay, guys, welcome to the pod. My sister is here. My sister in Christ. So we met many moons ago. I don't know where, but then we re-met recently.
Yeah.
And it was love at first sight.
Truly.
And that hasn't happened to me in a really long time.
Do you know, I was thinking about it on the way here. I said it to somebody. I don't know if I've ever had it happen the way it happened between us.
Say more.
It was so, one of my best friends is Rachel Platten. She's a singer. And she was really the only other person I could think in my head. Like the day we met, it was just one of those, like, she asked me to hang out longer. And I was like, I really want to, but I don't. Like I had this moment.
Totally.
And when I met you, and obviously our paths had crossed many a times, but that day and that, I don't even know what you would call it. Synchronicity is just too small.
Yes.
I was just, it could actually make me emotional. I was like, God, you are the most mysterious in the ways that you work. I had never had that deep. People thought that day that we spoke at this event together, they thought that we were best friends.
We were electric.
They were like, you're a hype girl. And I was like, we've just really actually
Honestly,
connected.
I remember once you had your little phone and you were taking your picture. I was like, sweet picture. And I saw you laughing. You're like, I suck at this. I was like, we're in. Like, if my girl, we can laugh at our jokes. And I think for anyone listening, a lot of what allowed it and afforded us that opportunity is trusting the timing. Like when we first, I don't know, even honestly, truthfully, don't know when we've met before, but we met and we probably didn't have that spark, but we were like, it's all good. Like love and respect. And then when we came together, it was like, oh, now's the time because of where you're at in your path, where I'm at on my path. And we also showed up really vulnerably. Like immediately we dropped into truth. Like we talked outside about stuff. Like you have to, if you want to be met in the depth of your relationships and friendships, you have to be able to go first and be vulnerable and be honest. I forget what we talked about at first.
Something came
up. Something about speaking.
About speaking and just being, and I had left my entire notebook that had my notes to give my entire speech. And I was like, and this is my message from God. God's laughing at me right now, being like, honey, if you ever think that you need a piece of paper for me to come through. And interesting, I have to tell you this because I don't remember exactly where we had ever crossed paths. Like I think there was one speaking thing in another state and something else, but I think I was intimidated by you. I think because we'd never actually been introduced to one another and we'd never met, that I kind of just had this like, well, if she doesn't want to get to know me, then probably I'm not worth getting to know. And like I went into my...
If I had $1 for how many women said that about me, it's crazy. I get, there's a part of my texture that brings up, I think that brings up something for people.
Yeah, it must have been that because I just had this sense of like, well, there's probably just not, maybe there's just not chemistry. Maybe there's just not like a simpatico about it.
Yeah.
And I literally remember, I didn't tell you this yet because I wanted to save it and share it when we had time to just sit.
And you're like, I met you before and you're a big ass bitch. And everyone needs to know.
You gave me Mean Girls.
Yeah, honestly.
No, not at all. I remember that day when I was parking, you were walking up to the event. And you picked a wedgie, just kidding. But you were walking up and I remember literally saying a prayer, being like, God, she's the one person that I just don't feel like I know. And we're both going to be speaking at this event. And I literally said, God, I give this to you. Like I felt this slight, and I'm 44 years old. I don't really get intimidated. I've just seen a lot. I've been around 100%. A lot. We live in LA. Yeah. You had enough experiences where you're kind of like, what the fuck ever. But I had this mild, very mild, but it was there, intimidation. And I remember I literally made the sign of the cross and I was like, God, I give this all to you. And then to me driving home being like, I think I just met my new best friend.
Honestly. Like, you know what, God, you did your thing.
Thanks,
here we go.
God, thank you for once again proving me so wrong.
Totally.
In anything I was creating.
I think, there's I've been told that so many times and I could see it. I think it's because I'm tall. I think it's because I'm powerful.
You're beautiful. You have the very we were just talking about it outside. You have what probably for many women, myself included, can represent the things that I felt I wasn't good enough at. Like I wasn't quite tall. I wasn't somebody that was striking as a younger woman. I had to really, my cousin who's so beautiful said to me the other day, I'm so glad we were kind of ugly when we were teenagers because it really made us develop our personality and our way of being able.
And wit.
Yeah, our wit, our humor, our sensibility.
Totally.
We had to work a little bit to be in the group and in the experiences and all of it. And at first I was like, rude. And then I'm like,
You're
no,
like, speak for yourself,
actually,
bitch.
you're 100% right. When I look back at those photos, it was definitely personality.
It's funny because hearing that is so nice, but I would say I perceive myself, I love the way I look, and I've had to earn that because I think I've been so insecure in my life. And when I was younger, I felt so chubby. I was like really off I was really kind of fell off and weird. And so it's so interesting to hear that because there's still a part of me that's like, what? I'm not in that experience, but it was so beautiful to be with you and just the texture of vulnerability and heart that you're bringing through right now and the type of energy. And when you spoke, it was so powerful, dude. Like and we both talked about, we want to be amazing speakers. You're an amazing speaker. Like,
thank you.
And you sharing the story of what you've been going through. And I just wanted to kind of bring that through as we start the conversation because most people probably know you and, see you for meditation and Reiki and everything that you've done. But when you talked about what you've been through since 2024 and struggling with an illness that you didn't know and being brought to your knees.
Yeah.
It just really, it was profound. So can you bring us to the past years when you were really struggling?
Yeah. I mean, it even gets me emotional to think about it because the part that's the most emotional for me is thinking about people going through what I went through without having faith. Like that to me is my, now is when I think about people who have had illnesses that have gone undiagnosed, people who get a diagnosis that maybe they're prepared for, maybe they're completely unprepared for, mental health challenges. I mean, I don't really think you can live in the world right now and not feel a sense of just the world is so fast and things are happening so quickly. And we live in LA. We just had the fires. We just like it's this sense of kind of always having something that a ball that can drop or something that can rattle you, right? And my experience, and I can get into it as much as you want, but I think the overarching theme for me and the takeaway, which is why we had such a profound connection at that event. That was really one of the first speaking events that I did. And some could call me unprepared for it. Some could call me radically prepared for it. I mean, for your audience to know, I literally got up on stage and just started fucking bawling. But that is to me one of the things that I think is so profound about going through one of the biggest challenges of your life. Like to date, that was the hardest year of my life. And I've gone through a lot of shit. And the thing that got me through it though, and actually brought me back to my depth and faith and in Christ and in what I grew up Irish Catholic. My grandpa was an usher. We were at church every Sunday. But it was it always just felt sort of like obligatory, which is what we did. And I've always been a faithful spiritual person. But when you feel like you're going to die, you want to die sometimes, the only thing that got me through that time, especially having what everybody said was worth living for. I had a young daughter. She was 2 at the time. I have an amazing, loving husband, incredible family, community, a career I love, a beautiful home. Like I have so many of the things, but I didn't feel safe in my body. And when that happens, like the only thing that got me through was prayer, faith. I would literally sit with this cross on my chest at night and be like, Jesus, take the wheel or take me.
I rebuke this energy.
I was like, anything. But it fucking worked. It worked. And my Rachel, who I said earlier, she is such a sister in faith to me. And we would literally go on walks together and we would sit down at a tree, some random person's tree in our neighborhood, crazy ass women.
No, that's my friends.
Crazy ass women are
I'm
coming
like, unless we're
around.
stopping to say hi to flowers,
Yeah, we are
and
not
like
going on
talking
a
to
walk.
squirrels. Yeah, we're not going on a walk.
Totally same. I can't wait for us to do a
No,
God.
literally,
we
my
call
friends.
them our God walks.
No.
We go and we walk and we talk, and then we do prayer while we're walking and talking and praying and seeing the things.
Talking to dogs.
Yes, of course.
I'm like, we're talking to all the animals. Like my friends will be
Everything.
talking. I'm like, hello, little bird.
Yeah, 100%. Oh, look at that Hummer.
Yeah.
Oh, hey,
Yeah.
what are you saying? Like,
Yes,
that's all
yes.
it is. But I remember this day I had a sty on my eye. I literally was like, I can't be alive anymore. And Rachel was like, we're going to go to my favorite tree. So we go to this tree and she's like, they think I'm crazy, but that's okay. She sits at the tree. She puts me at another tree, literally in front of somebody's house. And she's like, dear God, it's time for you to heal my sister. We are here. We know that this is her. And she just went on this prayer. And I just sat there and I was sobbing. And I was like, I am so blessed because I have people in my life that are praying for me when I don't have the strength to pray. My mom was at the church every day, lighting candles, saying her rosary. My neighbor across the street was saying, and God in this time of my life was showing himself to me through all the people around me because I couldn't see it and find it for myself.
Okay, can we talk about aging for a second? You know, I love to talk about this. I feel like in your 30s and 40s, you start noticing little things. Sleep isn't as deep, or energy isn't as consistent, maybe just some changes in your physical appearance, and you're like, wait, is this just how it goes right now? Healthy aging is something I care deeply, deeply about. I think ever since becoming a parent, I'm like, I want to feel as good as possible for as long as possible. And I've spent a lot of time trying to get ahead of it instead of reacting to it. That's why I am so excited about C15 from Fatty 15. It's the first emerging essential fatty acid to be discovered in more than 90 years. It was actually discovered by co-founder Dr. Stephanie Van Watson while working with the U.S. Navy to improve the health of older dolphins. That's right, dolphins, which is really incredible. Based on over 100 studies, we now know that C15 strengthens our cells and helps slow aging at the cellular level. This is what I'm interested in. Let's get to the cellular level of everything. When our cells don't have enough C15, they can become fragile and age faster. And as many as 1 in 3 people may have lower levels. So I've been taking Fatty 15 consistently, and I love that it feels like I'm supporting my long-term health in a foundational way. It's vegan-friendly, 100% pure C15, and even comes in a gorgeous reusable glass jar. Fatty 15 is on a mission to optimize your C15 levels to help support your long-term health and wellness, especially as you age. You can get an additional 15% off their 90-day subscription starter kit by going to fatty15.com/almost30 and using the code almost30 at checkout. Again, that's fatty15.com/almost30. Use the code almost30 at checkout. When I think about pregnancy prep, there's already so much to hold. Physically, emotionally, mentally, all of it. And honestly, I don't want supplements to be another thing I'm stressing about. That's why in my first pregnancy, I really trusted Ritual. Their essential prenatal feels very intentional and well thought out, from the ingredients to how it's designed. And I like knowing it's clinically backed and made with traceable ingredients like choline, folate, and omega-3 without unnecessary extras. I've also really appreciated the experience of taking it. It's hard to take pills in pregnancy, especially in that first trimester. The capsule is designed to be gentle, and it's one of the few prenatals I've tried that feels easy to incorporate into my routine, especially during those sensitive seasons. It has like a citrus essence that really makes it easy to take. And Ritual focuses on bioavailable nutrients and thoughtful delivery, including a delayed release capsule designed to dissolve in small intestines. That attention to detail really matters to me, and I appreciate. So don't settle for less than evidence-based support. Save 25% off your first month at ritual.com/almost30. That's ritual.com/almost30 for 25% off your first month.
I think I'm so glad that you said that, because I think that's been a part of my process that I didn't expect. So when I thought God talked to me, I was like, it has to be the voice. It has to be the man. It has to be me in prayer. And he's like, hello, Krista.
Yeah, like a conversation.
Yes, exactly. Like he's like the 10 Commandments to him.
Totally.
And it's been the process of God speaking through people to me.
Yes.
God, having the man on my flight sitting next to me, and I'm on my computer, and he goes, "Everything you touch turns to gold, huh?" Had no idea who this man was, anything about him. Whenever I felt like I've lost faith in who I am and what I do, someone will say something to me. You know, it's like every single time I hit my faith limit where I'm like, oh, I don't know, like someone will speak to me. So just for anyone listening in the audience, just remembering that like God works through people. God works through the ways
100%.
that you listen and that you can hear and you can almost attune to, and I can realize, and you probably can too, when it's God speaking and when it's someone else, because it will almost be something that seems out of left field, that's something that I deeply understand,
Yeah.
but they might not even understand that they're saying to me.
100%.
And so I just want to, before we go into that, like with your sickness, so you got, what was the progression of your sickness and what were you sick with?
Yeah. So I was quote unquote healthy.
Yeah.
I'd had my daughter.
You're like, I was healthy, I was hot,
Yeah, I was
sexy.
so good. Yeah,
honestly.
there was not as many grays in the head as there are now.
They called me beach body. They
obviously, I was getting fought for swimsuit covers. But I was doing well. I had had my daughter. We weren't trying to have a child. We got very beautifully and unexpectedly pregnant when I was 39. I had my daughter at age 40. Went through all the ups and downs of having a child, but then also having a child at a later age. I felt very healthy. I breastfed for a long time. So I had a lot of immunity stuff, and I'd kind of always had that a lot in my 30s. Like I had shingles, I had mono, I had all the shit. And so immunity was a thing for me. But I never really dove deeper into that. I just was kind of like, oh yeah, I'm the girl if I sickness. Someone sees it on a plane, I'm going to be sick. I'm going to have a sinus infection for a few days. And that was just kind of my thing. And then we moved into this new house. We'd been living in downtown LA when my daughter was born. It became very obvious that downtown LA was not the right place to live with a newborn because it was just getting really crazy, very dangerous. And we lived there for over 10 years. So we moved to a neighborhood in LA. It's a little bit outside the city. And we moved into a brand new house. It was beautiful. And about a year into living there, when it was heavy rains in LA, now it's about a year and a half ago, my daughter's wall started to leak. And we were like, well, that's weird. And it was just like water coming down the sides of the wall. And a friend of ours who was a contractor was like, well, let's figure out where the leak is. So we opened up the walls in her room, both sides. Her crib was right in the middle, opened up the walls and just put a little piece of plastic on it. So the room was just like swinging with these plastic things. Didn't think anything of it. We had gone on this amazing trip to Mexico for a few days with our daughter. It was like, and I remember specifically, Krista, feeling like life can't get any better than this. I was always I had done a lot of, what's it called? Nutrition response testing. I'd gone in and out of doing a protocol, which is a shit ton of supplements. And I just remember on that trip, App and I were both like, let's not take any supplements. Let's just be here. And I was sleeping great. So I had this feeling of like, wow, aliveness, just flow. And we got home, and about a week later, in the middle of the night, I woke up and I had started to feel a bit of anxiety. And I just felt like I remember having a conversation with my husband saying, I feel like the water's going to tip over the edge. Like I just started to feel things were increasing, like stress and other stuff was getting too much. And at that point, I had gone back to doing private clients. I wasn't doing Reiki anymore, but I was really doing more coaching. I was so fucking good at it. And I loved it. Oh. But I felt like the water was just going to fall over the edge one day. And we were about to have a family photo shoot. I have 2 stepsons, our older boys, and we're all like just a beautiful unit together. And so we were going to have our first and only photo shoot. And I went to bed that night and I had the craziest experience I've ever had physically. I turned over in bed and my whole head felt like these massive planets were just like spinning and clunking together. It was vertigo, but it felt like whoosh, whoosh, whoosh. And I was like, what the fuck? And I turned over and it happened again. And I was like panicking inside, but I also was trying to stay calm. And I couldn't really sleep the rest of the night. I woke up the next morning and I was just like dizzy and off. I canceled the photo shoot. I had gone to the person I was getting nutrition response testing. It was like, oh, you got some inflammation in your brain, like a shit ton of supplements, shit ton of supplements, shit ton of supplements. And nothing was getting better. A friend of ours who does like natural home stuff said, have you guys tested for mold? And I'm in the meantime, like spiraling into now I'm going to get brain scans. I'm carrying around pee jugs. I have bruises in my arms from IVs because I was just unwell. And we basically started getting testing, found out we had mold. So we started doing mold remediation in my daughter's room. It's kind of all happened at the same time. My husband and I were going to New York. I was meeting with my book agent again. I was getting ready to write my second book. I was meeting with my speaking agent. And I started waking up with panic attacks. And I was like, what is this? And I would wake up and it would feel like, and my heart would be racing. I stopped being able to eat. Anytime I sat, I couldn't sit, I couldn't lay. Anything I did brought on the disequilibrium, the dizziness. So I was there's pictures of me in New York that I've never shared, but I'm literally standing on the streets with my husband, just sobbing. I was sobbing the entire plane ride there. Like I was this weeping, emotional, and I'm always a crier. Like if I'm happy, I'm crying. If I'm sad, I'm crying. It's like, I always I have deep emotions, but this was different. And at this point, I'm now talking to us. I stopped sleeping. We get back from New York and I just stopped sleeping. And I had 2 nights where I didn't sleep 1 second. And I remember waking up I remember waking up my husband in the early morning saying, I remember the exact pajamas I had on. And I was like, you need to take me into a psychiatric ward. I can't stay alive. I don't want to stay alive. So I need to go somewhere where I can't not be alive. And it was terrifying. Like it felt so impossible to be in my body. And I've always been a very embodied person. I was a dancer. I owned fitness studios. Like my body is my everything. And it was terrifying. And long story short, went to I was wearing a heart monitor. I was at like I was everywhere. And I was in therapy twice a week. I mean, even that was hard because like I would sit down and the room would spin. And finally, this naturopathic doctor from Amen Clinic, we were talking about stuff. She was giving me my reviews of my brain scan. And she was the first one. She got on the phone with my psychiatrist. I'd never had a psychiatrist in my life. I was on Seroquel, which is one of the strongest antipsychotic medications you can take. It was all to help me sleep. At one point, I was on trazodone, didn't do anything. I got on clonazepam for a minute to try to sleep. I got on, like, I was just like, if you could tell me to eat a tree and I would figure out how to swallow bark in order to sleep, like anything to try and rest. And then my anxiety was so stressed about sleeping. So people told me I was perimenopause. I mean, I got every doctor I went to, which was very interesting. Every doctor gave me their version of a diagnosis and they were all wrong, meaning there might've been truths to some of them, but ultimately this naturopath, and I thank God for her all the time. I had said, oh, sorry, there's construction. We had mold in my daughter's room. And she was like, hold on. We need to do some testing for you for mold. And I was like, what? So it was in my daughter's room. She had temperatures, like fevers. And lo and behold, my mycotoxin urine test was off the charts. Turns out I have a 3-time genetic susceptibility and sensitivity to mold. And then lo and behold, my daughter's room is done and I'm still have symptoms. We do testing all over our house. There's fucking mold everywhere in our house. It was all over our kitchen floor, our kitchen island. Every time you opened it up, there was one of the worst type of molds, like just wafting into our air. It was coming up from underneath our house. So I was the canary in the coal mine for my entire family. and our entire home. And then it was being sick, not sleeping, and then having our entire home under construction. Like we were basically made a mini fridge and a mini microwave in our bar room. At one point I was living at Rachel's house. At one point with my husband and daughter. At one point we were living at our neighbor's house across the street, who also she's Filipino, and she happens to be one of the most devout Catholic people. Like she and I would sit and pray together. So it's just this phenomenal, I guess, it was this phenomenal awakening for me of gratitude and being so surrendered to the process. Like I tried to start a detox protocol for mold, and anybody who's ever had mold or who thinks they might, it is a motherfucker, and it gets everywhere. I mean, we had to have our entire house like HEPA, because they were like, everybody says, throw your shit out, move. I'm like, well, that's not exactly an option for everybody. And it wasn't an option at that time for us. And so we had to have our whole house HEPA vaxxed and cleaned. And it was so, our entire kitchen island got demoed. We still to this day have 2 plastic cardboard like tables as our kitchen island. And it is so profound to me because I don't know if I would have ever figured out that it was mold. And again, I think it was a myriad of things. I think I was taking too many supplements. I think I did have stress that was, just bubbling up from stuff. I think I had gotten a deep tissue massage. I did yoga the next day. I did a rabbit pose. Like maybe I pulled some tendon in my neck, I think it was, this sort of concoction of many things, but I think the mold really set it all off. And then to find out that we were living in this, I don't know where we would have been in 5 years if we had stayed living in this house without this massive experience. And me being on all that medicine was also one of the most healing things, because I grew up with a mom who struggled deeply with mental health. And I watched her in and out of psych wards. And I watched her take psychiatric medication that wasn't always good for her. And sometimes it was really good for her. And so I had stories that I was living that got healing because I had to take psychiatric medication. I had to. And it was the most profound thing for me to be like, thank you, God, for this medicine. Thank you for letting me sleep. And so it was so many things.
Yeah. With my dad and his Parkinson's and Alzheimer's. So we were trying to get, when he was diagnosed with Parkinson's like 6 years ago, he got on the drugs right away. And I was like, I'm going to heal you my way. And we got him to see a doctor on all these supplements and and it eventually ended up counteracting the supplements that he was, or the medicine he was taking. And I was like, okay, like this just isn't my thing. And, I think a lot of times in life that's why I'm flexible about my beliefs about things, because I don't know what God's going to do to my life. I don't know what God wants for me. And I think with medication and drugs, it's like, we can't choose how God's going to help us. And it's like, sometimes God's going to help us through medication, and sometimes he's going to help us through holistic means. And I think it's really beautiful because in our space, it can be like an attachment to one or the other. Obviously, my preference is none, but
of course,
it's like, it does really change the mentality. In your process, it's interesting because I've seen a lot of people who struggle deeply lose faith. So what made you have more faith?
I don't know. I think it was this like, there were so many people who helped me, so many people. Like my sister's wife, her name's Charisse. At one point they had to come because I was so unwell that I like physically couldn't take care of my child. And my husband was there and was amazing through it all. But he had shit. Like we owned a hotel together. We own an avocado farm. He has other bit, like we needed help. And they came. And I think me trusting the words of other people. And my sister's wife had said to me, pain does not last forever. This is temporary. You are going to get through this. Having my mom, who I had such a, I would call it complicated relationship with for a lot of my life, I talked to her every day, twice a day. She was my anchor. My sister I had to talk to every single day. Rachel, I would talk to all the time. My friend Ryan Weiss, my friend Jordan, I would talk to these people who had been through really, really tough times. And they would all tell me, God's doing something. God's doing, and I'll never forget Rachel. And I'd be so annoyed with her because I'd be like, shut the fuck up.
I know,
I want
for
to
real.
die. And she'd be like, oh, God is doing something so incredible for you right now, Kelsey. And I was like, that is so insane for you to even like think that that's possible, because I genuinely don't know if I want to be alive right now. And she's been very open about her mental health postpartum and other stuff. So to have, and even my husband had a period of his life where he needed to get on medication for sleep before we had even met. And so to have these people that I love so dearly and to have them constantly hold faith for me was actually everything. And to me now, to this day, the most important thing in my life, the number one priority I have, besides God and my family and tending to all of us, is community. My community got me through that darkest time of my life. And if I didn't have them, I can sit here today and tell you, I don't know where I would be. Like, I know that for a fact.
It's interesting too, to be able to be, I think it's also the buildup of the work that you've done to be able to be a woman that can metabolize someone saying that to you and still feel the feeling of annoyance, but also kind of know the truth of it. I remember it was like 2020, and I was having all of us were having a hard year. I was having an especially hard year. And I was really struggling with something. And I called one of my friends, I called Lacey, and I was like telling her, I was like, this is really deep, like the deepest, most confronting thing of my life up until that point. She was like, ooh, this is good. She's like, on the other side of this is so big.
Yeah.
She's like, this is so good. And I just was like, it was one of those moments. I was literally on the corner outside of my apartment.
You remember where
I
you were.
remember exactly where I was. And I just was like, that it changed my brain.
Yep.
She's like, this is so good. Whatever. She's like, how deep this is how big it's going to get.
And I believe it now to be like, when people tell me, their stories of mold or the pain that, I do everything that you're not supposed to do on social media, which is like, I'm in my DMs all the time.
I know.
So like, they're like,
you're like, I'm comparing myself to people.
Just kidding. A little bit of time focusing on your grid. I was like, no. There's so many DMs I need to talk to.
Yeah, literally.
And
I'm literally coaching people.
Yeah, same. And I'm so thankful. I get messages from people about these experiences that they're going through, and many of them are in similar places where they have young kids. They either are dealing with Lyme or mold or some type of autoimmune thing, and it feels hopeless. And even today, before this, I was having a meeting with a woman. I sit on the national board of a nonprofit, and she has young kids, and she was telling me, she's like, my baseline is exhausted. And I was like, and say no more. I was like, you need to go get an entire metabolic exam. You need to get your hormones checked. You need to see where your DHEA is. Like, I've learned too much now, but this is the part about God that I think I just want to share with everybody, if I may, is one of the things I started to not like before I got sick was how many supplements the wellness industry tells people to take. And I had worked with a practitioner, and I actually love the person and the practitioner, but I don't love what the practice represents. And I was starting to be like, this doesn't seem right. Like I know deep down that I do believe food is the medicine. Relationships, community is the medicine, nature, love. Like I know that. I know this is true. And so I was kind of always thinking of how can I eventually lean more into this and learn more and not live in a world where I'm taking like fucking 8 to 15 supplements like it's normal
Easily, yeah.
every day.
Mm-hmm.
And lo and behold, do you know that right now on this day in 2025, do you know how many supplements I take a day? 0. And it's not because I did it on purpose. It's because of the way that I had to go all the way in.
Mm-hmm.
I had to get on psychiatric medication. I was on progesterone. At one point, for me to go to bed, I was taking 50 milligrams of progesterone, 0.5 Ativan, 25 milligrams of Seroquel. At one point, it was 75, and I was a walking zombie. Then I was taking 2 magnesium, 2 cortisol manager, and I think something else, like an L-theanine gummy.
Mm-hmm.
And even that was like possibility of a full night's sleep or not.
Wow.
I was so like,
Honestly,
yeah. And I needed it. And it's just crazy to me that because I went on this journey and that amazing naturopathic doctor I told you about, she was the one that was like, I need you to see now that you're not going crazy. There's nothing wrong with you. You had a massive neurotoxin create incredible inflammation in your brain. Because I thought I was going crazy. I was literally like, this is it. My mother's mental health has come for me. I will now be a mother to a child that is in and out of psych wards. Like it was all my trauma and the stories coming. So the healing that I got to do through all of this was on another level.
That is insane about your mom.
Insane.
How did it make you approach? So a lot of women in our community, I've talked about the mother wound a bit. I struggled with that relationship. It's something that I feel really strongly about. How did that make you relate to her differently? What was sort of the healing there?
First of all, she literally walked me through my experience hand in hand before I knew that it was mold. Because I was undiagnosed for many months, just walking around being like, I am having a mental health crisis and I want to die and I think I might die.
What did your mental health crisis feel like?
Terrifying.
Was it like, I don't know where I am? Like, what was it?
It was, okay, to be specific, it was terrified of sleep because I wasn't sleeping.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
It was racing heart. It was intrusive images. Like I'd close my eyes and be like, what the fuck?
Yeah.
And it was terrifying.
Mm-hmm.
It was as if all the brain protectors that keep us like able to walk about and be in the world were like, bing!
Mm-hmm.
And
it's crazy then because it's not safe with your eyes closed or alone or awake.
That's why it felt like I couldn't be in my own body.
Yeah.
I was like, nothing here is safe.
Yeah.
If I just go on, I would literally leave my house and I would just go on a walk and I'd be like, this is the only thing that feels sort of okay. Just like walking with no direction, but just fucking walking.
Mm-hmm.
And I mean, even like putting my daughter down for bed, I was like, I was just dizzy and I was like, I don't trust myself. I mean,
Wow.
it was terrifying. I mean, I couldn't even eat. A bowl, and I love food so much, and a bowl of food would be in front of me and I'd be like, oh, like everything that I knew to be safe was terrifying. So that was my mental health journey. And I think the part that was really the fuckery for me of it was like, this is going to be forever. This is never going to change. It's only going to get worse. This is all it will ever be.
Mm-hmm.
And that was hard. And so having my mom, who I knew had walked through the fire over and over and over again, having my mom tell me, you are going to get through this. You are going to get through this, Kelsey Jane. You have never presented with mental health in your life. This is going to be okay. There is something else. And that naturopathic doctor, the fact that she got on the phone with my psychiatrist, this horrible psychiatrist I had in the beginning, who just kept upping the Seroquel. And my husband had worked in pharma before, and he was like, babe, you're like $1.15. Like you can't just keep upping the Seroquel. Like this is not a solution. And this naturopathic doctor was the only one. She got on the phone with the psych, and I was on the call, and she said, it is my job to be a detective for Kelsey and help her get to the root problem. Because this doctor was like, is it possible that all this searching is just going to make Kelsey even more anxious? So basic in her diagnosis. And this naturopath was like, I am going to help her figure out what happened to her. And she did. And the day that I got my mold test results, both genetically and physically, I was sobbing. I still was really unwell. I tried to do a detox and I got a sty on my eye for 12 weeks. I thought I was going blind. Like it was a nightmare. My body was pulsing with electrical things, like everything. My eye kept twitching. Like I felt so out of control. But to know that now there was something that was actually in my body that I had an answer to was so profound. And I had disequilibrium for like a year. It wasn't like this shit all went away. And I didn't do a formal detox. I think that's one of the biggest things out there about mold is a lot of people go straight into taking charcoal binders and detoxing. My functional medicine doctor that I finally found after all these other practitioners was like, gut first, then your hormones, and then if you need to detox, we'll detox. But every other practitioner was like, take a binder, you got to detox, you got to, and that was too much for my body.
It's so interesting, the mold thing, because, and I don't know how much time I want to spend on it, but all my clients, it's like coming through so much.
Yeah.
All of them.
Totally. Every person I know.
Same.
And people that are friends of mine that I've known for years in the wellness industry are now finding out that they have mold. And I'm talking everywhere. And I don't, some could call it, in my old career hat, we'd say we could talk about the energetics of it and all that, of course. But I think now it's kind of like, I don't know if I have a good association to it, but it's almost like once we find out that something is a quote unquote perpetrator, or something that's cause and effect, it's almost like all of the shades are taken off and it's very visible now. And so it's not, I think many people have suffered from mold poisoning and not known and been labeled as having a psychotic break, labeled as, hyper allergy, immune, or whatever it would be called. I don't think that it's new. I just think that we're all becoming more aware of how potent and impactful it is.
In this process too, like, since I've known you, I think our paths, it's been interesting to see like the spiritual path, and my spiritual path like has been very public of how it's sort of shifted and evolved, like, growing up Catholic and then sort of losing, I kind of lost the faith. I think I didn't lose the faith, but I was always existential. Like I was always just like, what's the point? What are we doing here type thing? And I was always in conversation with something, and I was always led by something greater. And I've never not had a moment in my life where I felt like I wasn't collaborating with something, but I didn't really have claim to God.
Yeah.
And I think at the beginning of the podcast, we were just so curious about so many things, like crystals, tarot, oracle, like all of it, all that stuff.
Do you have black tourmaline under your chair?
Yeah, honestly, I would be in workout classes with crystals in my bra. They would all like fly
I put
out.
it on my mat.
Yeah, same.
I'm protected.
Yeah, I know. Yeah, I'd be like, life is good. Yeah, and I'd be like, I've had over 400 readings in my life. Like,
Same.
it's just like a whole thing. And so, how has your spiritual practice changed?
It's changed. Like, it's almost like I don't have a word for it.
I know.
Because it's just like every part of it has changed. Like, I don't, how do you explain this? Like, how do you even?
I just know that this is what I think first. The first thought that comes to my mind is, this is why I don't like labels. Because I'm going to change my mind. I'm going to never be the same. This is why I never want to talk about politics, because I don't know what I'm going to feel in the next year, whatever. This is why I never want to claim anything. This is why I never want to be like, I am the goddess oracle.
Yeah.
Because then in 2 years, I'm like, I am a nun.
Yeah. 100%.
So that's the first thing I think, is that I never want to attach to a label. I think for me, what has been so interesting, and it is so interesting now, because I do feel like the conversation about God is coming online so much more deeply and truly. And I think the conversation about Christ does as well. And I think for me on my path, I was so grateful that a teacher was brought to me that I worked with for 2 years that really brought God back into my life in a way that I had been missing. And I think before I was feeling I felt so much more scared, and I felt so much more lost. And I think I was connecting to so many things and reaching so far outside of myself. And ever since I recommitted to God and have a connection with God, and I say God, it's been so much peace and so much clarity and so much ease. I can get on my prayer mat and just do my prayers, do my thing. And it's like, I feel good for the day. I don't need 100 things. And I'm not saying that crystals are bad or don't have energetic power or meaning, or like none of it is necessarily, I don't condone it or anything like that. But it's like, you just graduate kind of beyond some of the spiritual entertainment.
First of all, how does it feel to say that out loud? Have you ever said it before?
Yeah.
Okay.
I don't know if I've said spiritual entertainment, but I've talked about like how when you commit to something bigger like God, it's just so much more grounding than like a bag of rocks.
Yeah.
I just only can speak to my experience. Where was I? I was on a call the other day, and one of my best friends is like, you're like God's PR person. And I was like, I am. Like, I'm here for it. Like, what I'm here for is for people to find the peace that I know having a relationship with your creator can give you, and understanding that there's like a benevolent energy that is co-creating a life with you that you love, and understanding that you're loved infinitely and deeply, no matter who you are and where you are, and understanding that you're here for purpose, on purpose, with purpose. And that it's just all possible for you, and that it's all happening for your greatest good. Like, all of the goodness of the spirituality came through with God. So it's felt for me right and true and on time. And there's no part of me that feels scared of what people are going to think of me or judged. I just am like, oh, okay.
Amen, amen, amen. I think, I had stopped my Reiki career a couple years ago.
Do you have a massive Reiki business?
Massive. And I started to become known in ways that I was like not ever intending to be. Like, people are like, oh, she's the blah, blah, blah. She's the blah. And I was like, what? Like, this was not the plan. And even when I would do Reiki, who I called in every time? Jesus Christ.
Wow, cool.
I was always, even in the teachings, nobody taught me that, but I was always saying a prayer to Christ before I would do it. So in many ways, people would always be like, oh, be careful of that Reiki stuff. It's, it's devil, it's da-da-da. And I kind of get now on this side, I can kind of see what they mean, because of where people can feel like they're the ones doing it versus the higher power. And most Reiki practitioners are always connecting and knowing that it's not them doing the healing. It's connecting to something bigger. But I was always bringing Christ in. But I I always felt like something was missing for me. I even started, if I'm being fully honest, I cringe a little bit now when people say my name and use the word Reiki. And it's not because I think Reiki is a beautiful practice for people. I love that people get healing from it. I know I've literally trained thousands of people in it who are doing healing work. But for me, the reason I stopped was more because I started to get bombarded by people like asking for like crisis Reiki. And that just felt very scary to me, where it was like, oh, somebody's kid's in the hospital or something, big life stuff was happening and people were calling on me to send Reiki. And then it felt very intrusive. It felt like I didn't have a weekend or I'm taking my husband somewhere special and now somebody's texting me this long thing. So I started to feel this sense of almost like, and it wasn't what anybody was intending, but I started to feel like I was getting attacked by all these asks. And the people who really know me know I'm actually a very private person. Like I have a big public persona, but I'm a very private person. And
that's how all the greats are.
Right?
Truly. People, it's actually one of the 48 laws of power to be able to make people feel like you're very close to them, but also be very private.
Yeah, I'm very private, and my husband and I are. And the people who really know us actually know that. Mm-hmm. And so for me, that was just it felt a little unsafe is the right word, I guess. And after many moments of sitting with it and really starting to understand it more, I now know why. It's because God does all that. I don't do that. And I think what I was missing, now I will always want to pray with someone. I will always want to pray for someone. But to sit and do an act of healing when I know that God's doing it and God has the relationship with someone directly, that almost feels disrespectful, And again, I don't want to take away from the work that I did and from the work that I know people are doing. But for me right now, I have such a different level, especially, and for anybody who's out there who's been through this, they know what I mean. Like when you've been brought to your knees and you really are like, I don't feel like there's anything left. And then you turn to faith and you turn to God and you turn to that I'll say the word magic, but really it's that the devotion, the benevolence, the connection, the kindness, the grace. Then the feeling I have now, there's just so much faith for the path. And I'm like any human, I get caught up. My ego sometimes gets the leash and is trying to lead the way. But I don't know. I feel so excited about what God's going to do. And it's so much more than I could ever come up with and do. Mm-hmm.
Interesting because even a lot of when people say new age, I've literally been in this work for 15 years. I don't know what you're talking about. Yeah. So I don't know if it's new age or not what I'm saying, but I think a lot of the beliefs and teachings of someone or of new age work has been taught in Christianity or can be part of the Christian faith. So as the example, like this can only be good is one of my thoughts. Like whenever anything happens, I'm like, this can only be good. Someone outside of like God might be like thinking that as well. And it's positive thinking, which is great. But even when you have faith in God, I'm like, because of God, this can only be good. So it's not even far-fetched. I think when you bring God in the room, I think if you've been in the spiritual world, it's almost for me, what it felt like was I'm going to the source.
Yeah.
Even in my practice, I remember when I first started working with angels, like when I was like previous, I'm Reiki master, teacher level, Mary Magdalene, Yusui, etc. But I think when I started working with angels for stuff, I was like, okay, I'm working with angels. And then I'm like, and the reason why I was working with angels is because they were a higher level than working with, oh my God, my ears are ringing. They were a higher level than like ancestors. Like if they were like, I was like, I'm not talking to grandma. I'm like, grandma don't have shit to say to me. Like, and then it was, so I was already putting them in like my own little personal hierarchy. And then I was like, well, why wouldn't I just go to God? Exactly. Like, why wouldn't I just go to like the one that is the most pure, the one that will never have any distortions, any illusions.
Yeah.
And I think also being in the space of spirituality and seeing spiritual interference and hijacking and seeing both the dark and the light, I think you understand things more truly. And I think actually my understanding of darkness, of shadow, and of evil, you know, in life and true evil really helped me to move toward the faith in a way that was like, oh, this is what I proclaim and claim.
Yeah. And also what you are choosing to make sure that you're a part of, you know, like, and I actually had a lot of, what was interesting in my connection, my reconnection and my commitment to God and Christ, particularly, it brought up a lot of my unworthiness, where I felt like I didn't, like, I have stuff I want to talk about or that I need help with, but like, I can't waste God's time. Oh. I can't waste Christ. Christ is so busy.
I'm so glad you're talking about this.
Busy. Like, I should not take any of the mic time of people who need Christ. And that has been so profound for me. And I still struggle with it sometimes, but that has been a really big experience for me in terms of just seeing other parts of myself come up.
Oh, I'm so grateful you said that, because I'd love to talk about like how you pray and prayer, and that is so powerful. I was at this like spiritual group thing, and I've wanted to run into traffic after, because I was like, this is my nightmare on Elm Street, just like people pontificating on spiritual topics for fucking 2 hours. I was like, shut the fuck up, everybody.
So I don't go to anything
My nightmare on Elm Street. I was like, it's funny because people would think I love that. I'm like, no, I don't love. People are like, they're like, so what is ego? Do we want to kill ego or not? And I'm like, rich California people just sucking each other off. And so we're there, but there was this guy in the corner. Of course, I'm going to find the one person that's like so pure and genuine and sweet. And so I was talking to this guy, and he's like, you know, I really struggle to pray. He's like, I just don't know how to pray. I don't know what to do, and I don't know how. And I was realizing how much the church or religion not only makes you feel like you have to be perfect, that you have to say the right things, do the right things, be the right things, and it just keeps you from this true and genuine relationship.
Yeah.
And the true and genuine relationship is coming as you are. Yeah. And also, it's like God hears.
Yeah.
You think that God only hears you when you're calling in.
Yeah.
And you're like, hello.
Yes.
Here to ask you for $1 million. Like, no, God listens to everything you think, say, and do. It's everywhere and everything. And so I think liberating ourselves from the belief that we have to pray a certain way, we have to like, you know, act a certain way, we have to move in a certain way has been liberating. And just taking God off the belief that God is punishing, God is, you know, anything but just benevolent and loving and collaborating. Like, I just see it as such a collaborator.
Yes.
Like, it's not like I see myself as equal to, but I see us in relationship. And I can be clear, I can be, you know, God's going to do what God's going to do. But I can try and have my way. I can try and have my wish, you know, with things, and really kind of taking God off the pedestal a little bit.
Yes.
So I could be in just deeper truth with it.
Like, God and I laugh together.
Oh, yeah.
And it's like, that actually was so liberating for me, was to be, you know, also growing up Catholic. It's like, there's you, there's the priest, and then there's God. So you take your things to the priest, and then the priest will
I'm going to tell this pervert in a box that I stole from my sister last week. And he's going to tell me to do Hail Marys.
Yeah.
Jeez, no.
And that's the thing, right? Is I think it's this idea that I had to really look at the hierarchy and say, oh, I actually have I can create a direct relationship with God. And I think that is, I still love going to church. I still love my husband, he knows every picture of us in another country. There's one of me standing in front of some church that I can't pronounce the name of, going in because I like to feel the presence of God in these places. And some churches I walk into and I'm like, and I'm going to walk right back out. Like, this is not an energy that feels good. And some of them, I could just sit for hours and just feel and be. And now when I pray to God, and even Rachel, we have this funny thing where she'll be like, oh, I made a list for God. I said, God, these are all the things that are going on that are hard for me. And here's what I need you to do, God. Whether it's like, I need you to find this and I need you to blah, blah, blah. And then God will say to me, what do I need to do, God? And so often when I communicate with God in that way, my messages from God are always like, do less, rest more, laugh. And I think that was the real thing for me, is everything with God always felt so like formal. And it has to be this certain way, and you have to pray a certain way, or you have to blah, blah, blah. And your devotion has to look a certain way. And the more that I'm like, what you want from me, God, I want from me too. Like you are leading and I am following. And I've always been the person, I don't really have like celebrity anything. The people that I've always admired the most in life are like Mother Teresa, Pope John Paul II, like people who have created these lives of just devotion and supporting people and creating a sense of purpose through their passion for Christ and for God. And that is kind of the way that I want to live now, is I'm going to have fun, and I am going to swear a bit, and I am going to be silly, and I am going to, do all of the things that give me a sense of beauty and joy. But I also know, especially after what I went through last year, like I just give it to God. And I laugh at myself sometimes where I'm like, I can feel myself being in this mode. I'm driving and I'm just, my busy little brain is like, and I might have some mild OCD thinking about something, or I'm obsessing about something. And it's quicker now than it's ever been. But now it's like, oh, sorry, God. Right. You got this. You just show me the way, because I don't know what the fuck I'm doing over here. And that is so fun to me.
Yeah, lately I've been like, each thought that is like a thought of something that's stress, I'm like, oops, give it up. Like I just imagine it landing in my brain. I'm like, oop, not mine. Like nothing for me. And I think for people that feel unsure or lack self-trust, I think having faith is such a beautiful thing, because when I don't have clarity on something, like there was a conversation I wanted to have with someone that I was dating. And I was like, I didn't know if I was quite sure if it was me trying to control by trying to get clarity, or if it was me trying to truly provide clarity. So sometimes if you're someone that's controlling, you can be like, I need to get clarity, and you're really trying to control.
Amen. Yes.
And sometimes you really want clarity for the truth. And I wasn't sure where I was at. So I was like, God, I'm not sure where I'm at here. If I'm meant to speak to your son, please have him clearly request it. Otherwise, I'm not doing anything. Next day, 11 a.m., clear request of conversation. Literally the most clear. I'm requesting a conversation to clear with you.
Whoa.
Had the most beautiful clearing conversation of my life. And I just was like, so now I'm just so much more potently clear. And this happens in silence. This happens in, that is a true desire. I actually truly don't know. I'm not clear right now. I need clarity. I need help. And not only did God do that because that's in my best interest, but it's also in his.
Of course.
And so God's going to provide that opportunity for us, because I was in the true clarity of my heart, and he was too. And it's been so nice to have situations where I'm like, I don't know where to go. Please show me the way.
How do you feel now, if I may? You're very busy right now. You have so much going on with the book and with just all of life. How are you bringing God into all of it? Or are you?
Oh, yeah. God recently was so helpful. I was like, because we have our book that just came out, and I normally am a person that's 50 steps ahead. I'm in one thing, but I'm actually in 4 months. I'm here, but I'm not. And so, with the book process, I was praying, I'm like, God, what am I to do next? And God's like, go through this door and I'll open the next one. It's not about God showing me the full staircase. It's about showing me the next step. And so that's where I've been, where I'm just like, I'm taking the next step. We're co-creating this life with each step that I go. And that's not only keeping me more present, and it's keeping me more in the magic, but it's keeping me peaceful. Like I'm able to do so much more because I'm in the next step. Not that I don't get scared sometimes, because I do, but it's like, it's also just bringing me into a pleasure and a delight of everything, because I'm like, oh, great, book came out, good things happened, not so good things happened. I'm like, it's all good.
Yep.
You know, this was meant to be how it was. And I just trust that, where before I was so controlling and I was so like, I had to make everything and it had to be enough. And, you know, I was doing it all for me too.
Yeah.
Like if I'm all here, you know, it was all for me. Like I didn't feel like I was enough. So this was going to prove that I was enough. But if I know that there's a creator that loves me and I'm enough, then I know whatever I've done is enough. You know, it's like, this is enough because God made it. So I did it and it's enough. And so I don't have this running part of me that's like, nothing's ever enough. We're never satisfied, whatever, because I've found why I'm here. And whatever God's going to do through me, I'm going to do.
Exactly.
Yeah.
But I think that's the most profound part of this whole thing that we both know is that we are being used as God's, you know, before people will be like, you're a light worker, you're it's like, actually, I work for God.
No, 100%.
And I think so much of the languaging between like the spiritual person and the God follower, you know, I think there's this way that everybody's like separated themselves.
Such a good one. So true.
And I think we're actually all, you know, we can all be in the same vibration, if you will. We can be in the same path. It's just, you know, I used to always be like, okay, what's the intention? Or I want to make a list of like a manifesting list and a da-da-da-da-da. And I genuinely don't do that anymore, because I have been shown over and over and over again by God that what God is wanting for me is way more and way bigger and so much more profound than I can want for myself. Like, and I also don't know where God's protecting me.
Yeah,
I might have a want of something, but if God is blocking it or if it's not happening, it is 1000% for me and for the whole and the entirety of my life and my being. It's not because I'm not worthy of it. It's not because I'm not working hard enough. It's not because of any of that stuff. It's because either A, like you and I we weren't ready for this friendship yet.
Yeah.
And B, it's because there's something else there's another Tetris piece that's being put in place so it can go. And it's like, when you live in that sense of wonder and awe and gratitude, like I literally wake up every day and sometimes I get smacked by my daughter to wake up because she's got a shit in her pants. And so it's not the exact same wake up, but it's like so many days I wake up and the first thing I'm doing is like, oh my gosh, God, wow, thank you for this new day. And it's true gratitude because there was a time where I was waking up really a bit pissed that I was still here because it felt so impossible to stay. And so now it's like, yes, and, you know, it's like, you want to blah, blah, blah? Yeah. And if I don't, of course not. But it's like the lens I have is just so different now because I know that I don't have to take the wheel, Krista. Like I just genuinely get to be taking a ride.
And you know what's funny is I've been talking about the feminine more just because I've been on my own journey, just reclaiming the feminine. And the reason why I wanted to bring it through was because I feel like so many women have this deep self-hatred because of their belief they're not feminine enough. And I've noticed that the more I've come closer to God, the softer I've been.
Yeah.
And that's what I've really come to where I'm like, what has been my journey to becoming more soft and more feminine, leaving toxic relationships, you know, certain practices and rituals, of course. But it's really been the deep belief that there is like the Father and that I can soften into the Father. And that I think for women that are so deeply in need of a protector, of a provider, of a masculine frame, it's like you could see, and you guys could see God however you want, but I do see it as that. And that's helped me to be such a like deeper, softer being because I do have the belief that there's a provider and a protector that I'm like working with in life that's been so just stunning.
I love that. And I can't wait to like actually incorporate that more as a practice. And funny enough, I also feel that way with Mary. Like years ago, when we moved into our new house, I bought this statue of the Virgin Mary. And the guy at the shop was like, oh, if you have her facing your house, then you don't have to take on all of the protection as the mother of the home. She will do it for you. And then this is just how God works. I told you how when I was sick, it was like I was having prayer and just God was showing up in all these ways for me. My neighbor Edna she used to live in Portugal in Poland, and she used to live where Saint Faustista had seen the blessed, the divine mercy of Christ. And she had all these rosaries that had been blessed and all this stuff. She was like the main importer. She started giving me these gifts for my home, including this unbelievable picture that is now framed and in my bedroom. And then for this last birthday of mine, I just turned 44, my mom sent me my grandmother's statue of the Virgin Mary that was in her house forever. And it is now blessing and in the front entryway of our home. And as a mother, to really lean on Mary, like I will go to that statue when I'm feeling like things are just too much. And I will literally give a prayer and say, Mary, undoer of knots, like please cast your compassionate eyes on me and allow this home to be filled with your radiance and your peace. And I swear something shifts in the home. And so even that type of prayer, it's like we're using some of the same practices that maybe we were using a decade ago. But to me, it just it's like an everlasting practice.
Yeah,
It's
totally.
not one that's going to move with the wind.
Yeah, I think that's what it is. There's like a deeper foundation. I think what brought me to a deeper faith too, was listening to gospel.
Same.
I mean, everyone knows that follows me, or I am a gospel head. If I'm at the gym, my brothers at the gym are always like, I'm listening to gospel all the time. 3 to 5 minutes in the morning to set yourself up for the most miraculous day of your life. Just listen to a gospel song. Elevation Worship, Maverick City, like Tara Highland, I think is her name. Like there's just such beautiful music out there. Yes. It's like, not only first of all, it's just clarifying, purifying, Holy Spirit's in the room. Like it makes you feel so loved. And I think for me, having it in the morning when I'm very tender mentally, like Jireh, like you are loved. It
gives us it's like doing prayer, but in the form of worship.
Yeah.
And it's like the feeling you can get, if anybody has ever been at some place or you might be at a wedding and everybody's dancing. It's just this feeling
that's true.
Of connection.
Collective energy.
Yeah, and it's palpable. And when I play that music, which every day it's pretty much on, or even if I'm in a mood, if I play any of those songs, everything shifts for me because it's like an automatic portal to come back into the why. Because I think what do we forget most as humans? We forget that we are divine souls having a human experience. And we forget it every day over and over and over again. You're on your phone, you're scrolling, you just forgot. You're, doing whatever mundane task, you're in your head too much, you're thinking about how you can control some other moment of life. The world feels uncontrollable, you're feeling all distraught. It's when you're not in a place of remembering that you are a soul, you are a being that God created, and you are having a human transformative growth experience. And of course you're going to forget. We're all going to forget. But that to me is what gospel music does, is it's a transport. It reminds me of what home is.
Yeah, it's like home frequency, home. And also being someone that's so sensitive, that vibration just kind of sets me up and just gets me right. Like, it's like a tuning.
And it's a reminder that like, oh, God's got the wheel.
Yeah.
I completely forgot. I thought I was driving this car today. I had to figure out the navigation. I had to figure out traffic. I had to make sure I had gas. I had to make sure the tires are pumped, blah, blah, blah. And it's like the minute you tap into that music and those reminders and those words, it's like, silly me.
Dude, I know.
God's at the wheel.
Gyra, what do you mean?
Come on.
Come on, bro. The Justin Bieber gyra at church home. Have you ever?
Never.
Okay, Justin Bieber has 2 gospel songs, Gyra and He Loves, and Sister.
I'm listening to that on the way home.
I can't wait. I weep. That's what I listen to whenever I'm speaking on stage,
Yeah.
whenever I'm presenting, whenever I'm doing anything with a bunch of people. I would just want to crystallize the field and just like get into my highest vibrational state, and I will just listen to gospel. I'm like, it's funny because I know a few speakers that do that.
Really? Spill the tea, spill the secrets. But I do think it is that. It's like when you have given it. I mean, I know, if you look at some of the greats in terms of kind of consciousness and all of it, many of them had such faith in God that they would say, oh, book this event on the least auspicious day. Say yes to the thing that has the worst weather on that day or whatever it is, because their faith was so strong that they didn't need to tap into all the other stuff. And trust me, I still love to listen to an astrology podcast and get a feel because I know the stars are super powerful and strong, and God made the world that we live in. So I believe all of it is there. And I think it's really good information. But do I believe even still that God can push through all of that? 100%.
I think it's where it's like once I had that foundation of truth, then I can sort of take things in the way that feels healthy for me.
Yes.
This is informational, and God can speak through astrology sometimes. I could hear something or something through some sort of teacher, some healer, whatever. I'm like, okay, God's working through them or whatever the thing is. So what would you leave, our audience with today? Like if they're feeling like they want to come back to the faith and they want to just reconnect because they're feeling disconnected, what would you say to them?
I would just say, talk to God. Tell God.
Yes, that's a good one.
Tell God that you are feeling I was desperate. So I could say the word desperate, but tell God where you are. Just say, God, be with me today. Walk with me. Give me your hand. Let me know that you are here with me. And then let it go. To me, I think when my ego wants to control stuff too much, it's like, people talk about intuition a lot. And I think a lot of it is just letting yourself stay open to the miracles. God has given me more miracles than I can count. But I also have to believe in miracles in order to recognize and see them for what they are. So if you are missing faith in your life, or you're just, honestly, I would even say to anybody out there, and even if it's just one of you, if you are so tired of feeling like you have to control everything, if you are so tired of feeling like you are in control, that everything and everyone around you relies on you and you're just sick of holding all of it and the plates, and it's just getting heavy. You are someone, like, you are the perfect person to start today and just say, God, help me carry this weight. Help me carry these plates. Help me remember that I do not need to have all this control. And I would start there.
Will you come back?
I love you always.
I love you. I could do 40 more hours of this.
I love you so
and we
much.
will.
Amen.
Okay. Amen. Amen. We love you guys. We hope this hits in a way that feels expansive and open and loving and inviting and truthful and non-judgmental, and in a way that's supportive of you and knowing that you are guided, held, supported, and loved more than you ever thought possible.
More than ever.
We love you guys. We'll see you on the next one. Bye. Thank you so much, Kelsey. Again, it's kelseyjpatel.com and Kelsey J. Patel on Instagram. Such a beautiful conversation. We appreciate you tuning into Almost 30 for subscribing, rating, and reviewing. If you haven't done that, do that now. It means the world, and we would love it.
We love you guys. Thank you for being a part of our community. We have 2 new episodes every single week. We haven't missed a week in almost 10 years, which is crazy. So thank you. Thank you for subscribing. We'll see you on the next one.
We'll see you soon.